Hi everybody, this is John Schwabish from PolicyViz.com. I've got another Excel tutorial for you, this time on the conditional formatting menu using data bars. I've talked in the past about how to make heat maps and some other things using conditional formatting. Today I'm going to talk about how to use data bars. Let's go over to my example tab. I'll zoom in here just a little bit. So I've got pitching wins and losses for the top 15 or so, 20 pitchers from the 2021 season of Major League Baseball. Let's say we want to turn this into a little bit of a pyramid chart here. So a bar going to the right for wins and a bar going to the left for losses. We can do that relatively easily using conditional formatting. So let's just say I select my data here. In my home tab, I go over to conditional formatting and I'm going to hit data bars. And I'll go all the way bottom down here to more rules. And when I open this menu, you can see I've got a lot of options here. So we've got the style. You can see I can do a color scale. We've talked about that in the past, icon sets, or do some other formatting here. So we'll stick with data bar. We can pick different minimums and maximums. You can see I could do numbers and values and percents and percentiles. I'll just let it set to the automatic. Now, direction is relative to the whether the number is positive or negative. So if it's a positive number, we're going to go left to right. And if it's a negative number, we're going to go right to left. In this case, because I'm using positive numbers, the context will just follow that. So it's going to go left to right by default. So I'll just leave it as context. Now we can also check this bar if we want to hide the numbers. I have another way to do that, but I'm going to click this bar for just this side just to show you the two ways. So I'll click that bar just so I have the bar itself. Here I can obviously set the colors for my positive values. Let's give it a nice rich blue color, not negative here. We could add borders if we want. I'm not going to do that here. We can change different axes here and we can change the color of the axis. So I'm just going to set these basic controls, hit OK. And I've got a nice little horizontal bar chart. Good to go. All right, I've got the wins sort of laid out. Let's do the losses. So I'm going to go back into conditional formatting, into data bars. And now here I have to make a little change because notice I have positive numbers. So if I want them to go to the left, starting at the right and go to the left, I have to change the context because if I leave this as context, it's going to be positive numbers and they're going to go from the left side of the cell to the right side of the cell. So to make these bars go right to left, I'm going to change this to right to left. And I'm going to leave this box unchecked just so I can show you another way to do this. For these bars, I'm going to make these a red color. Now notice they're still positive values, right? The numbers are still positive, even though bars are going to go to the left. I'll click OK. And now I've got a nice little chart going out to the left. All right, so first thing, another way to hide these numbers is the trick that I've shown in many other tutorials on this page, so on this channel. So be sure to subscribe. I'm going to go to Format Cells. I am going to open that window. I'll go into Custom. And I'll type in 3 semicolons, 1, 2, 3, and I'll hit OK, and those numbers will be hidden. Now let's take a look at what we've got here. These two columns are the same width, but the wins bar at the top here is the same width as the wins here. And let's go back and get those numbers out. So I'm just going to copy and paste these cells, and I'm going to show you how to turn off the conditional formatting. So just going to clear rules and clear from those selected cells. And I need to put these numbers back on. So you can see how I have to make a bunch of changes here to get these numbers back. But let's just do that. So we can see here we've got the longest bar for 20 wins and the longest bar for 10 wins. But they're the same length, right? So this chart is really incorrect at the moment because I want these values for 10, these bars for 10, to be half as wide as the bars for 20. Now, I could, of course, just change the width of that cell, that column, but that looks a little weird. There is a better way. So what I'm going to do down here, so I'm going to redo these bars down these next two columns. I'll give a little space here so you can see the difference. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to create a new formula, just a little max formula. It's just the maximum of these two series. I'm just going to select those and hit OK. And I'll do the same thing here, set the maximum. And now what I can do is remake those two bar charts in this example, including the maximum value. So again, I can go to wins here. I'll go to conditional formatting, data bars. This one's all set. I'll give it that nice blue color again, hit OK. essentially same chart as before. Let's go to losses. And now we're going to do the same thing as before. I'm including the 20, right? So now I'm going to go right to left. I'm going to select the red color. And now it's going to go out. And you can see that the bars for 10 are half as long as the bar for 20. So this is how I like to set this up. I will usually hide these numbers. Maybe I leave them in the middle. If I want to sort of set up a little table. Again, custom, 3 semicolons, and that's gone. And now here, what do I do with these? These two they're just placeholders for me. What I tend to do is just hide them, or you can just cut and paste them. But now you can see I've got a little bar chart going out, sort of a pyramid chart going out from the center baseline to the right for wins and the left for losses. Now, another thing that you want to keep in mind is, let's just say that we only had, let's just say we didn't have as many entries, but let's just make this table a lot taller here. So I'm just going to bring this up. Now, notice when we look at this table that the names and the team name are not really aligned with the bars. We want to sort of have them aligned to the center of the bars. So that's a simple change to make. If you just select your data here and go up in your home tab, you can vertically orient or vertically center the text here. So I'm going to center that text. So just like I can horizontally align, so right, middle, and left, I can do the same vertically. I can go to the bottom, which is the default, center, or the top. And in this case, if I put it at the center, it's nicely aligned with that bar. So just a couple of ways that you can see here how I can have things aligned in this simple example. Now, you might be saying to yourself, well, why not just do this in the charting engine? Just make a chart like this. And we could obviously do that, but let me show you how this might come into play in practice. So let's say we have a table like this. So this on the right here is a table that the Food and Nutrition Service puts out once a month, has a number of people participating in this particular food distribution program. Here is my simple remake over here on the left. You can see I've just sort of simplified this table, gotten rid of a lot of the dark grid lines, sort of changed some of the alignment. A lot easier, I think, to read the table on the left than in the original on the right. But when you look at this table, you might not immediately see that the number of people participating in these programs is so much larger in Oklahoma than it is in many of these other states. So let's say, to make this table more visual, we want to add a little bar chart, maybe just to this last value here in the 2017 value. So what I can do is I can just copy and paste. I'm just going to copy and paste here, move this over. I can go to conditional formatting. Now what I'm not going to do is include the 90,000 in this calculation, right? So because what I want is the data bars just for the individual values. Again, I don't really need to make any other decisions here. I'm going to click that. You can see that that bar is much taller. Let me undo that just to show you what happens if I include, I'll just use the defaults here, if I include that 90,000, right? Because now Excel's pulling from the whole distribution, scales the maximum bar, the longest bar, to the maximum value. So I don't want that. So I'm just going to include the individual state values, conditional formatting. I'll go to data bars. I'll hit that built-in, maybe delete this guy right here. And then what I'll do again is I'll hide these numbers. I'm going to do my Control-1 to get to my custom menu, 3 semicolons, hide that. And now I can do a little bit of formatting. Maybe I do something like this, merge them, center them, put a little line there, and I'm all set. And I've got a little table with a little bar chart at the end. So the data bars can be really helpful in your own analysis, but can also be helpful at the end of the day if you want to make a more visual table, add some more visual elements to that particular table. So data bars and the rest of the conditional formatting menu can be really powerful in your Excel visualization work. I have other videos on this YouTube channel describing how to use some of those conditional formatting options, and I hope you'll take a look. Be sure to subscribe. So if you want to learn more about data visualization and how to use Excel to create good visualizations, please check out policyviz.com and subscribe to this channel.